So about a year ago, my wife and I took a trip overseas to Barbados, and honestly speaking, it was nice. Warm sand in my toes, bright clear skies, and a nice cold drink. For some context, I've been a mechanic in the Air Force for almost 5 years, and honestly speaking, I enjoy getting my hands dirty, but sometimes it tends to get tiring, and after a while, I gotta get away. Turns out my wife was also wanting to take some time off. The only issue we had was where. I live in western South Dakota, and people who have had the fortune of having to spend a long time here can tell you there's not a lot of things to do. And that's not to say it's a barren wasteland, there's just not a lot for indoors people to do. I used to go out a lot when I first got here years ago, but as time passed, I kind of got bored with South Dakota's nightlife. I've been to the nightclubs, the cigar lounges, the bars, even house parties, and I feel like I'm over it. So a staycation wasn't quite in the cards. So that brings us back to where. But I don't enjoy traveling, and by that I mean the travel portion, whether it be by flying or driving. Because I'm over 6 feet tall, and the idea of having to be cramped in a small space with no room for my legs to stretch isn't exactly appealing. But either way, it was gonna suck. And since a staycation wasn't an option, and I can't make a portal to Barbados, you don't have to guess what happened next. If I remember correctly, we had to fly from South Dakota, down to Texas, up to Illinois, over to North Carolina, then finally overseas to Barbados. And everything was going fine, aside from the fact I had to keep lotioning my ashy ass knees because they were rubbing the back of the seat in front of me like a match that you tried to light more times than you feel comfortable admitting. On our last flight from North Carolina to Barbados, we had an overnight layover of about 6 or 7 hours. Put your freaking hands down right now. But since I wasn't aware that the layover was overnight, I didn't book a hotel. So I called a few places and in the end was not able to find a hotel with any available rooms. One receptionist straight up hung up on me, and I bet money she called me a slur after hanging up. But in the end, we ended up sleeping in the airport. And I'm not gonna lie, it actually wasn't that bad. I just used my backpack as a pillow and my hoodie as a blanket. I wasn't worried about a hard floor, cause I grew up in the streets. I'm just gangsta like, I'ma stop playing. Let me stop before I get exposed like Celeste from the movie Roommates. Now streaming on Netflix, go watch it. It's really good. All jokes aside, my wife did not have the same experience. But eventually, we were on our flight, headed to Barbados. We were there for about 6 or 7 days. Alright, I'll let you have this one. Just this one. Shooter station on the mainline, but head back to the behind. The way up, I know he died. 6, 7. Okay, okay, we're done, moving on. We went on zip lines, dinners on yachts, and yes, this is considered a yacht. I don't care. I asked Google, and Google's right. We went on excursions, 5-star restaurants, room service. It was pretty much all inclusive, and I mean all inclusive. Fun fact about the cave tour, you could get fined up to $50,000 if you were caught touching anything in the cave, because they didn't want the oils from tourists' hands to get on anything and potentially harm the ecosystem or whatever they called it. I wasn't paying attention. On one of our trips out, we went to a beach with a long strip of restaurants and vendors. It was pretty cool, but we ate before we got there, so I didn't eat anything. Sad, I know. But my wife got a snack anyway, and we had to find a table to, sit at. And while she was enjoying her snack, a homeless guy walked up to us with a drink in one hand and some Barbados dollars in the other. What do you call someone from Barbados? It's like Barbadian? Barbadian? I don't know. Anyway, he was asking for help if I could button his shirt up for him. Weird, I know. But I didn't want to make a big deal out of it, so I helped him out. But as I was helping him with his shirt, I noticed he kept glancing into my wife's bag. And that's when I realized this dude knew we were tourists and he was looking for an easy lick. Pause. I set my phone down in my lap so I could help him with his shirt. And for a split second, I thought he stole it because after I finished with his shirt, pause, I looked down and I couldn't find it. And it wasn't until then that I noticed Smooth Criminal by Michael Jackson was playing. And I low-key thought he actually finessed me. Somehow. But it turns out my wife grabbed it when I wasn't looking. But overall, I say it was a pretty good vacation. Thanks for watching. I can tell more stories if you want. Just let me know. I also have a Twitch, so if you want to see some streams, again, just let me know. I make content for you guys, so if you want it sooner rather than whenever I get to it, just let me know in the comments or something. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed it, leave a like or, do whatever you want. Peace.